Welcome to the Morning Dig podcast with Chris Williams, where in under 5 minutes, I discuss experiences, achievements, and lessons that have motivated me so they can also help you kickstart your day and to keep digging in. Good morning. I got another killer topic today, specifically kill. And that is the idea that speed kills. I've been working with a few people that I've been mentoring. One of them I'm really looking forward to going into business with on a really cool project. And being that she's on the younger side, she doesn't have the life experience to understand the importance of speed, the importance of trusting others to be a part of this process so that you can scale out the amount of volume of content or work that you're doing so that you can do something at a volume that creates revenue, that ultimately creates a profit that allows you to get paid the way you want to get paid. And so I've been working with a handful of people on this to realize that one of my favorite things in the world that I've learned in the last few years comes from Dan Martell, and he calls it the 10-80-10 plan. And that is the first 10% you're involved, you're helping somebody get started on what you want. Then you let them run with the next 80%. And then they bring it to you almost finished, and you put the last 10%, you put your fingerprints on it, you make sure that it's tweaked and fine-tuned to the level that you would expect your standard to be at. But 80% of the work was done while you were doing something else that has a higher level of return. And whether that's content creation, it's writing, it's projects at the gym, all of us could benefit from 10-80-10 and helping someone get started, give them the framework, show them what you want done, and then allowing them and building trust with them to do the other 80%. And then bring it back to you to do the last 10. And it always brings me back to something that I found really interesting when I started buying art. My wife and I fell in love with Thomas Kinkade. My wife is an absolute Disney fanatic, so we bought some Thomas Kinkade paintings. We did not buy originals. They are $100,000 plus, but we bought some prints. What I found interesting was you could get just a print for not a lot of money, a couple $100. You could get a gallery print, which is apparently a higher end version, for a little bit more. And then you could get another level above that where Thomas Kinkade himself didn't paint the whole thing, but he gave them the framework. He did an original, they copied it, and they started manufacturing it with a robotic computerized printing service. And then he came back and touched it up with his paint. So he put some brush strokes on it and brightened it up and added a little bit of Thomas Kinkade into the painting. And those were in the thousands. And it really goes back to that 10-80-10. Thomas Kinkade himself could create 1,000 pieces of art, and they could all be worth $100,000 each. But he found a way to make that 10-80-10 work for him, to scale that out and to create thousands of pieces of art that are all over the globe in people's houses like mine that make us happy, that aren't necessarily his original work. And then he took that 80-10, 10-80-10, made it even better by doing the first 10% of creating the original artwork, letting his team do the 80% to create this mass production. And then he put his 10% in the very end, putting brush strokes and things like that into a certain amount of them that they were able to sell for exponentially more. It's a brilliant, brilliant business model. And if you look, it's something they're still doing today. They don't get the Thomas Kinkade brush strokes, but they're still getting Thomas Kinkade's family that does art, creating original works, and then they're manufacturing them and partnering with Disney, and I can only imagine the amount of money they're making. But the point of this is, you have to eventually trust that your team can carry the ball so that you can focus on things that require a higher priority, that you work best within your realm of skills. It was an eye-opener for me. It's something I'm really working hard to teach my team so that we can scale and grow and everyone can eat. I hope that helps. As always, keep digging in. taking the time today to experience the Morning Dig podcast. Whether you're a first-time listener or long-time listener, I hope that this has given you value, that you found the time to share this with friends so that you keep inspiring and rising the tides for all. If you haven't yet, take a moment to check the description below and follow me on my social media accounts for daily motivation, education, inspiration that I hope continues to provide value for years to come. As always, my goal is value. So if this provides value, continue sharing with others, keep digging.